How about now?
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Alright, I'm gonna wait to see if anyone can hear us.
Right,
Testing.
Yay!
Yes.
Right, okay, you
Hallelujah.
can hear us now.
We did it.
Let's start again, shall we?
From the top.
So, hello everyone and welcome
Hello.
to the stream for today.
Yes. We have a how-to stream today.
Yes,
Don't we?
we're going to be answering some of your questions that we got on Twitter. I'm Richard. This is Jamie, the lovely and effervescent Jamie Breeze.
So it's been said.
Bubbly as usual. And the lovely Ed behind the scenes,
Hi.
controlling the audio.
Don't blame me for this. So, this very professional studio environment is used as a craft room occasionally. So things do get knocked, wires get pulled out, and faders get.
That's actually a lie. But people do leave this room in a terrible mess, and because wires still haven't been phased out, unfortunately, basically we're sitting in a sea of spaghetti.
Sorry about that. I could hear everything because I had headphones on, but you guys couldn't. So sorry.
Oh well, it's not the first time, is it? Anyway, you'd think we would learn. So we've got a few requests off of Twitter.
We have.
We have a short list. We couldn't do everything today, but we've picked a few things we think we can cope with in terms of complexity.
Hopefully.
James is going to help me with the logic. Did I say that already?
You said it when we didn't have audio,
Right,
but
okay.
here it is again.
I couldn't remember whether I'd said that before or after.
No
We
worries.
switched it back on.
Cool.
So what should we start with? We've got an itinerary. Should we do the question about water first?
Let's do it.
Did you write down who the question was from?
I did not, unfortunately.
Okay, well
No.
make yourself known in the chat if it was you that asked the question.
Well, we've actually got a collection here of different
Oh,
things
a
that
collection of-
we enjoyed.
Wonderful things.
Yeah, wonderful things. Some examples of some nice looking water in here.
What was the
Yeah,
question? Can you do it? How do you do it?
Well, there was two questions regarding water. One of them was how do you do nice water visually, and the other one was how do you do things bobbing in water and behaving as if they're floating.
Yep.
So what we're doing first is, please ignore, by the way, the second imp. That's just there for later. Jamie's found some lovely examples from the Dreamiverse before we show you some techniques. So what are these examples here?
Now this is a good example of
By
a
Woe Canada.
Woe Canada. And this looks like a sculpt with some nice flow effects on it.
Yeah, it's
And a
nice
bit of
and
reflection
simple,
as
but
well.
It works.
Yeah,
Bit of reflection,
yeah, it looks
bit of
really
shininess.
nice. Yeah.
Lovely.
And also
Yes.
this one, which has a bit of reflection going on as well.
Ooh, look at that. That's a nice painting. It's a bit Bob Ross, isn't it?
It is.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely stuff. So
Right. So let's do our own version.
cool.
So we've got something we prepared earlier, haven't we, Jamie?
We have.
We've been busy this afternoon. So first of all, let's do the water itself. So why don't we move that thing out of the way? That's for later. Now, what's the easiest way to do water? Because there's
Easiest
multiple
way?
techniques
Yeah.
you can use. Let's just go from simple to complicated.
Cool. So the first technique I would use is just a sculpt. All you need is to put a block down, and you can go in and stretch it out.
Or just scale it up.
You can scale it up too, yeah.
The world is your oyster. You can make it any colour you want as well.
It's pretty
Your
murky this one.
Yeah, I've
Water
chosen.
doesn't have to be blue.
I've chosen a
or-
very realistic orange.
Guildford flooded this week, and that's the
That's true.
colour of the water that we had at our doorstep.
Yeah, that's probably being kind.
Yeah.
So a bit of tint, there we go. Now what are we
Cool.
going to do with the material?
So we're going to go into the star mode.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah. Or do you want to put some?
Make it shiny first.
bit shiny,
Go on,
cool.
Make it shiny. So I would use shiny wax, so it has a bit of translucence. But you can do anything you like, really.
Cool.
Depends on the style you're going for. There is not one correct way to do this.
That clearly is in your mind, Rich.
Well, there's one way for me to do this, but again, it's like if it depends how much effort you want to put into your water. If your level's all about water, you're going to want to put more effort in. But if it's just a little bit of scenery in the background, maybe you can sketch it a bit more, make it a bit less fancy. So what are we doing, Jamie?
So now I'm going to add a bit of looseness to it.
Yeah, oh, bit of texture.
Yeah, always looks
It's a bit
good.
flat, so what do we do about that?
Bit of impasto.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to choose a better fleck, perhaps?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Should have a bit of ruffle too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
bit of ruffle.
ruffle.
There we go.
Make it more organic.
So is ruffle? I sort of understand this one. This is where you're taking the flex and sort of offsetting their rotation. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah,
It's randomising
yeah.
the rotation.
Yeah, yeah.
So the opposite of ruffle is comb, where you brush and it all goes in the same direction.
Gotcha.
Good to know. What flex should we use for the
I
water?
would use the one bit further along.
This one?
No, not that one. That one.
Cool.
That's what I always use for water because it's got a sort of waviness to it.
Nice. And then I'm going to animate it a little bit.
With the effects tool.
Yeah.
Effects mode, rather.
Yes.
So we're going to put some wave on it. You might want to turn down the impasto a smidgen
All right.
because your water's looking a little bit hairy.
Hairy water, not a good sign.
No,
How's
There
that?
we
That's a
go.
bit better.
because the wave effect will give it a little bit of that kind of
Movement. Yeah.
movement. And
Cool.
actually, you don't want to put too much ruffle on either because when you do flow, the flow follows the direction of the flex, and if your flex are all randomised, it can make your flow look a bit weird. So if you want your water to have a direction to it, don't turn the ruffle up too much.
That's a great tip.
There we
Look
go.
at that.
Perfect water, first try.
Yeah. Lovely.
Very nice.
So that's your simplest water.
Now, would you like to demonstrate the other kind of water?
I'll have a go.
Yeah, give it a bash.
Come here then.
You know what?
So what I was thinking was, we can use this piece of sculpture as a template, and then we can draw a impressionist painting on it, like Picasso. So we're just using the sculpt as a template. So what that means is we're using it to keep our object flat, our painting flat rather, on the surface. And then I'm going to come out of paint mode, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to scale it up a little bit.
So you just used surface snap to draw a straight line on top of that sculpt.
Well, I used the ruler as well to get the line straight, but I wanted to keep it on that level.
Yep.
And so rather than fanning about with grid snap, I thought I would just take the easy option. I'm going to turn up the looseness so you get a bigger, chunkier fleck. And I'm going to duplicate on a plane, except that the plane is the wrong way round. And I've got no control over that. So let's put the grid snap on so that we can rotate it 90 degrees, and then we will pop that down there, and luckily using the spread it out so it fills the pond, turn up the number of copies so it covers it completely. And then what we're going to need to do is use, I think we can use the comb tool, which is in style mode, to flatten it. There you go. So if I just drag that, I need to do that just the right way. Maybe I need to do it without the grid snap on.
We're all
Should
learning.
have practiced this earlier, shouldn't I? Oh dear. Oh, never mind. No. Oh, Jamie, help me. What do I do?
Or if you want to, you could scope into the paint itself and then rotate the paint.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think you can do this. More words.
There'll be someone in chat who knows what to do.
Somebody in the chat.
There will be.
You know what I think? We worked here.
That's really weird.
Oh.
Oh, it's because it's being... hang on, I'll just try it without the comb. There we are.
There
So I'm
we
going to go back
are.
in. Hopefully, maybe... We will get there.
In the end.
It's-
There we go. Should we just use clone instead?
We could use clone instead. Would
Should
you
we
like
do
to
that?
try using
Come on,
that?
let's do
There's
that.
times like this where just start again, just do it again.
Yeah,
You knew what
yeah.
you wanted to do. It's for you just
Oh,
flummoxed
dear. The
by the...
limitations. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is going to scope into that. And I'm going to do... Oh, let me do precise move, which you've already had switched on. Oops. There we go. And then again that way. So we're just manually doing what I was trying to do with the duplicates option. There we go.
What you're doing should have worked. I think there was maybe a misstep at the beginning, which...
Yeah, but anyway, never mind. Now, is our animation offset going to work with this? I wonder.
It's only one way to find out.
Well, hey.
Wow, rapids.
Nice.
No. Oh, bums. Anyway, that's all right. So let's turn that down a bit. Because we can actually use the effect for that. So let's do... But the good thing about paintings, and the reason why I'm using a painting, kids, is that you can make it transparent. So if we go here to the first page,
Oh, now you're talking.
there we go, you can make it see-through. And then you can also, if I go into paint mode, I can change it to a waxy, shiny wax, and then we get a nice, where's the sun gone? What have we done with the sun? Have you hidden it?
It's right there. Use the tool.
No, I know, I just couldn't see the sun. What have you done with it?
It's
Just
directly
make
above.
it lower.
There it
Oh,
is.
it's just tiny, that's what the problem is. Why isn't it reflecting? Oh, it's because it's not actually... Well, it's just
There we
because
go,
it's so
yeah.
transparent, that's why. There we go. Ah, lovely.
We got there in the end.
Yeah,
That's nice.
It looks really nice, yeah.
Okay,
Well done, Rich.
so I'm going to make that a bit shinier. There we go. Oh, look at that.
I do like the
Um,
effect that that the reflection has, like of the sun. It's like warping it a little bit.
Yeah,
It's really-
cool. It's distorting it. Well, there you go. It's accidentally made it look amazing. Okay. Right. So another thing you can do is you can use a fog gadget underneath the water, which is in here. And what that does is it gives you illusion of cloudiness in the water. So if we just stick that down here somewhere, and give it a sort of square thingy bob zone, and then what you can do is just lay that under the water so that you've got a sort of cloudiness. Don't worry, I'll straighten up in a minute. before you start moaning.
Yeah, the chat's just completely moaning right now that you haven't straightened out trigger zone.
There's a riot.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Shocking.
All caps, everything.
To be honest, I would be moaning myself, right? And then we're going to put fall off on it, so that as you go deeper into the water, you get it gets kind of thicker. Now it's a bit difficult to see, but if we had more lights and stuff in there, and maybe some walls inside the pond, you'd be able to see that a bit more clearly. And then also, if you were to go under the water in the game, you see there it's sort of murky. Somebody needs their pond bottom cleaning out.
Give it a bit of glow, maybe. Give it some light.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's make it a bit bluer so it matches the surface, and then just for the hell of it we're going to make it, oh, it's glowing.
That's really nice.
So you can do all sorts of crazy effects. Another thing you can do is if I go into the Dreamiverse and get us a... I don't want to use all of our time. How much time have we got left?
We have 40 minutes,
Are we
so
on
plenty of
schedule?
time.
Right, so I'm just going to put that in as the pond bottom. And one thing you can do as well... Any other top tips, by the way?
Well, I was just thinking about using the text displayer as the surface of the water.
Yes,
we could go into
that.
that too, yeah. And then doing reflections. Or fake reflections.
Actually, that was in the perfect position already.
He's in the zone now, Jamie.
He is, yeah.
Sorry. Well, I was
Don't
I'm
disturb
just
the
banking
artist.
it for in a minute. So
He's keeping it back there so we can...
I'm just looking for a nice caustic effect for the water.
Caustic? Is that the word you wanted?
Caustics, yeah. Caustics is when light filters through the waves of the water.
Okay.
Wow.
And then what you can do... Am I right, Jamie, or am I...
I think you're right. I think you're right.
You can do that. Because paintings don't... the light will catch the fog, so what I'm going to do is turn the fog down a bit. Because we didn't mess with the density and make that a bit more subtle.
My favourite thing with fog is to put all the noise sliders to full, and you get a very wavy, billowing effect with fog. But then you do have to turn the density down a little bit.
Do that. Do what? Sorry, animate the noise.
No, just put all the noise sliders up to the top. That's my favourite thing. It might not be what you need here. Strength and then scale and speed. It makes the fog look very billowy. You might need to change your density slider as well, but you get more movement that way.
I might turn the opacity down on the painting a bit as well. There we go. So there's all sorts of ways you can experiment with. What was the other thing you said, sorry? Oh, the text displayer.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can also use text displayers, and actually now the text displayers are improved from the early access version. You've got texture and things you can put on them. So you can do...
Is this authorised by Kareem to use text displays in an artist?
Absolutely not. If Kareem saw that we were doing this, there'd be a Kareem-shaped hole, and he'd be throttling Rich right now.
Oh dear.
I was talking to him recently about like the idea of challenges and stuff like that, like making a level entirely out of text gadgets and stuff like that, and he was like, it sounds good, but where are the sculpts? So... yeah, we'll not be doing that then.
See there.
Essentially never do that on my screen.
Never ever, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Hemlock says, the light is genius.
The light, yeah, caustics. And you can put them underneath the water as well, so they shine on the bottom of the pond and all that kind of stuff. So let me just...
Oh, you want allow rotation maybe?
Oh, where's that?
Second one from the bottom, there you are.
There we go.
There it
Oh,
is.
that's better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the roundness. Where's that? There it is there.
That's a good point. I
Do I
wonder
have
if
to turn
Kareem
off
has
autofit?
played
There
Alex's
we go.
Nightmare by Sloan Mackenzie, which is entirely text
For
gadgets.
gadgets, yeah.
Yeah, I bet you enjoyed it, but with like with gritted teeth.
Texture strength. Make the scale a bit bigger. We can mess around with all that stuff. And we can make the opacity lower, so it's a bit more subtle. Wait a minute, where's the fall off gone? There it is. And then you can like fill that, you can use that if you want a sort of more solid surface to your pond.
That's really nice.
And it will fade off at the edges, which is quite nice. I'd put it underneath your painting, so it just gives you a little bit of a sort of look at that, we're underwater. And then you could do all sorts. You could use an emitter to make bubbles and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just don't use a text display for bubbles. It's very naughty. Right, what's next on the list? We're going to do a bobbling thing. Right, okay,
bobbling
so somebody
thing,
else
yeah.
asked about bobbing things for bobbing in the water. So we made this earlier. Oops.
You dropped it.
I know. Have I deleted the tag that I put in there?
You might have done.
Oh no, there it is.
Oh no, it's there. And thanks, Ed, for the splash. Always on top form with the audio.
Oh yeah. Now, we've put this sculpt, it's just a simple sculpt. We've put a tag on the surface of the water, and then on the sculpt we've put a microchip, and on the microchip we've put a follower following the tag, but only in the y-axis, and a gyro to keep it sort of level, but the gyro's only sort of a bit weak, so it'll still wobble about, but it will more or less stay flat enough to use as a platform.
That's right, and we've got a character in this scene, but I think
Should we just see if it
Yeah,
works?
she drowns instantly. So
Oh dear. Where is she?
there she is.
There she is.
Yeah. So we can demonstrate the
Kumi.
gyro effect.
Is it Kumi or is it the other one? Kitsu? No, Kumi. Let's put the sculpt a bit closer to the edge so she doesn't die instantly.
Stream sirens.
Oh yes, it wouldn't be... There we go. So now,
Oh, nice.
because the... you can play around with the... Oops.
Oh, cool.
You can play around... See, if you wanted to drown instantly, which might be useful, you can put a health modifier under the water. If you can find it. Oops. There we go. Oops. Just make that zone. Insta-kill. Make that a cylinder so it fits nicely. Let's just turn that way up. Ooh, what have I done? Have I got keep upright on or something?
You've got a certain guide on, haven't you?
Oh, I've got precise move on. That's what it is. I'll do that. Look at that. Precision. And then what I'll do, I'm just doing this to show you how to create sort of deadly water. It's about right, isn't it? That'll do, won't it? Now, oh, there we go. She's on that bobbly bibbly. See there, it sort of bounces as if it's in the water. It tips a little bit, but not enough that she'll fall off. When she falls in,
Splash.
she gets respawned. There you go. See, and also because the water's because the platform's only following in Y, it can still drift around with physics. So you could control it in other ways with other gadgets.
Do you want to put a splash sound effect in there?
Do I want to?
Yeah.
What if she hits the water?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Okay, go to the audio tools. Just taking you off topic now.
Shall I put a sploshy sound on the platform?
Can do, but let's do the splash first.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just do one thing and we'll get
All
the
right, Mum.
we can extrapolate. Sound tool. Go to search.
Search, yes. Oops, search.
Sound effects.
Sound effects.
Our
MM
collection.
sound effects.
Then in collisions.
Collisions.
Try I think either medium or hard. There should be some water ones. Try that one. And on the right hand side. No.
Oh, that's a bit big.
That's a bit big. Let's try medium.
Let's try a medium one.
There you go, big splish.
Lovely.
Right.
So let's put that somewhere anywhere for now. And let's go to your health gadget and wonder if you're gonna run out of batteries.
In the thingy or in the
Sorry, that's health modifier.
health modifier, yes.
I'm wondering if that has an output that might be useful, which might
do.
be. I have done some
Currently modifying.
So yeah, plug that into the sound, and then tweak the sound. So that's it. When I'm currently modifying anything, I'm gonna play this sound. We need to make it non-positional, so that one will do.
Yeah.
And then go back to the first page.
Yes.
It's currently set to one shot, which is good. And then if you drag the graph, the first one, just underneath the
That
volume.
one? Or that one?
Yeah,
There
drag
it is.
that right out, so it's got a long release. That just makes sure that just makes the whole thing play out. So let's see if
Should
that
we
works.
try it now?
Let's give it a go.
Alright.
No guarantees. Haven't tested this.
Ready.
Welcome to the club.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Wonderful.
coot me. And then we could also add sound effects to the wobbly thing
Yep.
with a movement sensor to trigger them and stuff. But anyway, let's do another thing, shall
Shall we do another thing?
We've spent enough time on water.
That was great.
Should we save it?
Yeah, we'll save it.
All right. We'll release these
It's
later
good.
for you to fiddle around with. For your own experiments. Right, what's next?
Next, I'll just have that pop into.
Should we have a look at the
collection.
local multiplayer?
We can do, yeah. We had an example of floaty platforms too, but
We've done it now.
we've done it now. Cool.
This looks exciting.
It does, doesn't it?
Have we got any questions in the chat, by the way?
Yeah, that's a good point. If you have any questions, just let us know.
Who's looking at the chat?
You are, because you took it off my screen. So I can't monitor it.
You stole
Sorry.
it.
Oh, I didn't realise only one of us could see it.
Yeah.
Can we not have multiple windows?
No.
Nope.
I can move it back so you can.
Right, we added some splash. Water. Keep saying water.
That's probably
Water.
directed at me. I wonder why. Ever since I let that one northern word slip, it's been.
Jamie does have chat, he's just very quiet.
Sorry.
No, he can't see it. Oh, you can see
I
it.
can say I've got it here.
Oh, you should be looking at it then, darling. Because that's too far away for me to see properly.
Do you want to swap? Do you want to be.
No, it's all right.
Okay, I'll just do.
Oh, he can see you. He's just ignoring you.
Right, let me look at it then. Let me look at the laptop while
Cool.
you're fiddling.
Alright.
Because this is a more logic-y one, so I'm going to let Jamie take the lead.
What are we
Alright,
doing here,
cool.
Jamie?
Now, this is local multiplayer. Someone asked how to do it. And basically, all I've done, I've got.
If you're in the chat, the person that asked for local multiplayer, just say hello.
Let yourself be known. So, yeah, all you need to do is check on the puppet's controller sensor.
So, yeah, if you go to the controller sensor of the puppet, you want one puppet for each player, right?
That's right, yeah.
This is for, like, bog standard. You can obviously do...
This is going to be like the simplest version. Of
Absolutely, yeah, that's it. So this one just has player one selected by default. I think all four are selected, so you just need to get rid of those. And then for your second player, obviously, to pop into the microchip. This one's already been done, but it only has player two selected. So when you do play it, you're automatically possessed into the correct puppets. So
Right.
that one also works, but the controller's down there. So,
Say that again.
but you have the other controller.
I do have the other
you got it?
controller. Sign in as you, Jamie.
Yeah, so you're
Actually-
me for the.
Do I need to unplug it? Can I unplug it?
Of course.
Oh yeah, there I am.
Cool. So if you move around.
Oh look, see, look, local multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's a Connie battle.
Connie battle, yay! Right, so
The Battle of Connie.
so we've created the basis of a game there, a very simple one.
That's right.
Now, what was the other question about multiplayer? Oh, there was a question about collectibles.
Yes.
Now, we weren't sure about the details on that one, so we thought we'd do some scoring stuff and we'd incorporate it into this scene.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, how do we figure out who's collected what?
So for this one, just to keep it really basic, I've got 2 different scores, one for player 1 and one for player 2.
Right, and there's a score.
That's a score,
gadgets.
yeah, score gadget. So
And
that
what a
just
score gadget does is it makes. It's a bit like a variable, exactly the same, except it also creates a scoreboard on your dream, doesn't it?
yes, it does.
Okay.
So I've got one for each character, but I've also gone into the interface a bit. So we've got a score modifier. So each score goes to a number displayer. So we've got 0 on both sides, but when you collect the actual scores, it increases by 1.
So the score modifier could be on the point itself, but you've actually put it here. What's the tweak to make it recognise that that score has been altered?
That
It's like it's the second one there, isn't it? Operation type. You have to put that to get.
get, yeah. So when you use get, you are essentially like reading the value of the score, but you can also set it to set, which sets the value of the score.
Right.
But for the purpose of this scene, we've used add.
So, let me just clarify.
Let's go for the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Variables and scores are the same, but scores have a scoreboard. Now, a score modifier is similar to a variable modifier in that the only way to manipulate a score variable or a variable is to use a score or variable modifier. There's a number of different ways it can modify it. And actually, one of them isn't modifying it at all. It's just finding out what it is at the moment.
That's what I was
that's
getting at.
it. Yeah.
So the thing you've got there is the actual the point that you collect, right?
That's right, yeah. So this is just in the microchip of the score pickup. So there's a score modifier that adds 1 to the score when the respective characters are in the trigger zone. So when you test it out, when you collect the coin itself, it adds 1 to...
And if I collect one,
Yeah.
it adds 1. But they're
Yeah.
both the same pickup. So that logic is identical on every pickup, but it will affect either player depending on who picks it up.
That's right, so you could make like a ton of these. Oh.
Put some up on the stairs, look.
I love that you're giving yourself the points there, and there's none on Richard's side.
Yeah, I'm just going to copy these and put them over here.
What we really need now is a way to hit each other off the platform and into oblivion. To certain doom. Get out of it. So you can already feel the fun forming.
It's in its primary state right now, but
Oh,
it'll
you've
be
beaten
there.
me. So the cool thing there now is that we've got collectibles, but we can also add things like power-ups.
That's right.
Is that something we've got time to do?
There are power-ups that we already have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what? Can we give Connie the ability to do a power slam?
I think she already has that, doesn't
I
she?
know, yeah. Maybe we can do that. But will they affect the other characters?
I'm not sure, actually.
We can try it.
We can try it. So if you hold R2, she does like a power-up, like that.
But I don't do it. Only you do it. So
Only
now
I
you're
do
cheating.
it. Oh. Cheating yet again.
But we
No, I think you've got
we could hook up that power slam with a force applier gadget and have that affect players, but not the player you are.
Mm.
So other players. I don't know how we would do that. Slam logic.
Slam logic.
The top with the yellow ones.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Right, let's see. Okay, that's the output of the slam.
So this goes to the next. Well, that goes. There's another microchip, isn't there? Connected
right.
to slam logic. There.
Into here.
Yeah, that's it. Effects.
Cool.
So
Slam. Yep.
oh, look at all this complicated effects.
I know, right?
So how do we make a force applier only affect other players and not the player that's firing it?
It's a good point, actually.
If you look in the
It's
last
labels, isn't it?
Yeah, the last page there.
Yeah. Okay.
But how do you detect friend and foe?
So if we label one as a friend and one as a foe, and then change the labels, maybe?
It's contextual. We don't know, but we'll get back to you on that.
I'll try it really quickly.
I see. So if her one only affects friends, but then what if you've got 4 players?
Then you would use more labels.
Object.
Yeah, scenery.
Player 3 has to be an object.
There's something, I'm not sure if it exists on that gadget, but a lot of gadgets have something called scope, and that is, it says like anything that is currently
right.
inside the scope of that puppet, so it will ignore Connie herself. So if you say outside or not in the scope, that would be a way to make it.
Yeah,
do
sensors
other-
do that, don't they? Trigger
yes.
zones.
I don't know that force flyers do. I can't see from this screen, unfortunately, but I think that might be one. You have got a match mode there.
Yeah.
It might be. Oh,
So they
that's
just-
no, that's not right.
We can try it.
Let's try it.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
That killed me.
So if you try it with your... Oh no.
brutal.
I win. Yeah, try it again.
Oh, it works. Yours works on me, but mine doesn't work on you. That's fair, isn't it,
Yeah.
kids?
Totally not intentional.
Oh dear. Have we got any questions in the chat? Right. Someone asked
This
about. Someone asked about that community video.
The community video.
You know what the Dreams community means to me.
Oh,
video
yes.
that's been released. Did everyone like it? First of all, someone was asking who made up the silly subtitles for the people.
I think it was Ant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was
Ant,
Anthony.
our video editor.
This sounds like
extraordinaire.
You
sounds
might
like
know
a
him as
classic
Franz
ant.
from the Impies. The infamous Franz. Right, any other questions? Let's have a look. What's next, anyway?
What's next?
Yes.
We're going to look at. There's someone asking about achievements, I think.
Oh yeah, let's have a look at that quickly.
Yeah. Well,
Trophies and achievements someone
Yeah.
asked about.
I'll pull up an example to
If it
begin
was
with.
you, call out in the chat.
This is something that I made in early access just because I thought it'd be really cool. But yeah, it's a very basic achievement system that is triggered currently by just pressing different buttons on your controller. So they just pop up on the top right like that. But the
This
thing,
is something you shared before, isn't it?
it is, yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you're a fan of Jamie's work, you'll have seen this before.
Is this something you published, or is it?
Yeah, this is. You can go in and remix this for yourself. Yeah.
Cool.
It does get a bit complicated because it uses like all kinds of stuff to store many values in one variable. But I think for the purpose of this, I have a more simplistic version.
Great. That's just what I need.
Cool. And this one saves one value per achievement. So I have to remind myself.
Oh, people are asking about ways to give away prizes. If you make an element private, but you can put it in a prize bubble, then people can only get it through winning that prize bubble. That's correct, isn't it? As far as I know. Have a go and see if it works.
Fact check Rich, everybody.
Like I said, I know a little bit about a lot of things, so all I'm doing is shuffling you into the right department, and then you can...
If you would like to know about prizes, please press 3.
Yeah, you can always hover over them in more info. Look at the gadget.
So yeah, for this example, we were talking about having like an achievement for a certain amount of enemies that are defeated in each scene. So what I've done here is to sort of simulate that, because we don't have the enemies here, is every time that X is pressed...
We're simulating an enemy dying with every press.
Yes, we are.
Should we create a sound effect for that? I love making sound effects.
Just to derail the whole thing a little bit more. Yeah, why not?
We don't have any
why not?
vocalisations in the sound effects, though.
Oh.
Where are they, Ed? We have to make them ourselves.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Go on then.
Cool. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful.
That's the sound of an enemy being defeated.
It sounded like it, yeah.
In vicious style.
Sorry, everyone's ears there for you.
We're sorry, but not that sorry.
Someone's asked about horror dreams. I like horror dreams as long as they're not gratuitous and horrible and, upsetting.
Yeah.
They're fine.
So
Use your best judgment.
So I'm just hooking this up to the X button, so every time we're pressing X, someone off screen will die. Wonderful. Yeah.
Great.
And you could even create, if you're debugging this system, you can always put text displays on the screen to show the numbers counting up so you can see that they're working and all this kind of thing.
We just count the screens, it's fine.
Yeah.
Count
Right.
screens.
Back on track.
Yeah, so this counter checks to see if all 10 of the enemies have been defeated, and then it triggers this wireless transmitter, which basically says we've done this requirement, so we've collected 10 whatever. And then up here...
So just quickly, they work by the name of the gadget. So they'll come on, as you grab them, it will say wireless transmitter, but you have to change that name to be something that you want to transmit. In this case,
absolutely.
What's it called?
Trigger achievement 1.
Great. So that is going to send that little name.
And that goes here, I think. Yeah. So this one's like constantly hearing for this to be passed through.
Mm-hmm.
So Embergs is saying that he put a prize into his creation and it was already public and now he can't publish it again. What you can do is publish it as playable if it's got a private thing in it, but you can't publish it as public again. So if you're saving a new version, you can release it as playable, I think, if it's got...
You're talking about prizes that we have given away?
Yes, MM prizes. Yes. I think that's how it works. I will ask for clarity on that from the Dreamiverse team.
No, you're correct. They have to be playable.
Cool.
Yeah. And that actually ties into what we were saying before about...
Not in any way whatsoever, but that's fine.
No, I mean about the prize bubbles.
Right, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, collectibles and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool. So another thing about achievements is we want them to be sort of like persist over like a certain dream. So when you go back into it, it's already collected, rather than you having to do the exact same thing again and collect the achievement again, which would be a bit weird. So for that, you just use variables and make sure that they persist in dream. Now I've just done one for each achievement that you collect. So it only needs to be to have a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 1 to say whether it's on or off. And then this wireless receiver checks to see if that requirement has been fulfilled. So when that goes to 10, that's going to go, all right, you got the achievement, and then this will pick that up, and then it will send a signal to this counter, which will go on. And then it will say, right, we've collected that achievement, and then it sets that variable to 1, so that when you come back into the scene, if you're in a dream, because that's how variables work, you have to have the scene inside a dream, and then you go back into it, it will already be collected, so you don't need to collect it again. Does that make sense?
Basically, with every bit of kind of programming you do like this, there's always a very simple thing, which is how do I make this achievement fire, for example. Well, we just make a thing go up. When it hits 20, then we collect the thing. But as you will come to realise when you try and make games, you've got to then put in these things such as this safety mechanism so that it doesn't fire every time once you've collected it, that you reload that scene. So you have to put in these persistent variables.
That's right, yeah.
So there's a lot more to it than just the basic logic of collect 20x and then fire this bit of logic, you've also then got to put in all these safety catches.
Welcome to the world of game development.
Game development.
Where nothing is ever as simple as you might imagine.
That's it. I mean,
But once you've done it once, you'll know, and then you can do it again next time, and you can always save that bit of logic out as an element and use it again in other places.
Or just use Jamie's.
Yeah, because it's
Well,
right there in the
remix
Dreamiverse. Why listen to this? But yeah,
we'll share this as well, won't we, Jamie?
yeah, of course we will. And I was just thinking that's one of the first things I had to do was to add a buffer to the achievement saving variable. So what that does is it waits a little while before it says, okay, now you can save it, because it can detect if it's already been collected, and if it has, then it won't save the achievement again, because it'd be a bit pointless, wouldn't it? So I also have this interface, which controls all of the animations. So when you do kill, I might turn this down a bit. There we go. So there it is, that grimacing spectre of death, right? So every time you press X...
This is a horror game, but just with me doing all the sound effects.
Yeah. So there we go. So when I press it again, it should... Yeah. So on here... Yeah, I've made it so you can just go in and like just change the name of the achievement and all the graphics that it uses. So you can use different symbols, and it will like move in from the right and then.
Can you
move
show us
back
an
in.
example?
Did the achievement pop? Did it go?
I mean, it should have.
Oh, what's going on? Maybe it thinks it's already collected it, and that's why it's
could
not
be.
doing it.
There's an exclusive gate powering that timeline, which doesn't look like it's powered it.
Oh dear.
All right, hang on. What's this one? Already. That's right, because I've already.
Because you've already
Because
collected
I was
it.
debugging it.
There you
That's
go,
what I was
see?
doing. It was entirely intentional, and yeah.
So we know that works then.
Game development in practice, it's great. So when I do it now, it should. There it is.
Yay!
Yay, it did the thing that I wanted it
You
to do,
created
yes.
20 annoying noises.
Amazing.
That
So
was
yeah,
the chat saying. We do get our furniture from an old lady. Yes.
How dare they?
A lovely old lady.
but another thing about this system is it uses an exclusive gate so that you can't trigger multiple achievements at the same time, because then you get like an overlap of graphics,
So
which
what
would be
is
really weird.
what is it? Now there is a tutorial in the latest version of Dreams, which explains how exclusive gates work. So if you're not sure, go and check it out now.
Basically, it's just a small gadget that allows one thing to happen at any one time based on the name of the...
Stops multiple things happening at the same time.
Exactly.
They can also give things priority. So if two things rush to the door to get through it, it can go, well, you get priority, so you have to happen first, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And
So
you can actually dynamically change priority of things, which is how you do button combos for fighting games.
Yeah. Cool.
Which actually that tutorial will also show you how to do, because you dynamically change the priority on a timeline. So if you swing your sword and hit, at that point on the timeline you have a keyframe that changes the priority on the exclusive gate, which allows a second press of the same button to fire the second part of that combo. You can actually string them together to do an infinite number, well, as long as your thermometer doesn't fill up.
Yeah, and that's actually quite good, because I think Slurm asked about making sort of like combos and stuff.
That was right.
Yeah,
Slurmus
so
Mackenzie was asking for that on Twitter. There's one name I can remember.
Quick tip.
So that's how you do it. You put a timeline on your move, so you tie it in with your animation, then you can get it to fit to coincide exactly with the point of impact of your swing of your sword or whatever it is that you're doing.
And if all this looks overwhelming, and if you're new to Dreams, don't worry. These people have been doing it for a long time. But like my first experience with Logic was that it was very scary. And you learn by just trying the simplest version of any particular thing. So if this all looks like too much for an achievement, make an achievement system that is just simply a counter that turns on, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly,
all you care
yeah.
about. Like, always go for like something that is just like the most basic, and then you'll realize what all these extra things do, because you're like, oh, this doesn't do that, so
Yeah.
I need to look into how those extra bits of logic work.
Like I was saying
that's
before,
right, yeah.
start simple
Yeah.
and then build on it, kind of thing. You'll build it simply, play test, and then iterate. That's how game development works. So make it work, but then
You can just
realise
make
how
it
it
work,
sort of
yeah.
like its limitations, and then build around that to solve all the little problems.
That's it. I mean, the most basic version of that would just be to use a controller sensor, then put it into a camera, just like the one that we had before. Actually, if I just go back into
Yes,
This
my
one.
secret power is asking other people how to do things. I'm not the master of all knowledge, but actually that's how the community works, is we all ask each other for help and share things. Isn't that right, Jamie?
that's so true.
Right, have we got any other things we need to talk about? Because we haven't got a lot of time left. Train effect. Should we
Train
try-
effects.
Somebody
Yeah.
asked how we did the effect in our stream of the train
Cool.
and the scenery going whooshing by. So why don't we build a train
You got 10 minutes. Go.
Go.
train
Hello, Rich.
window? Oh, blimey.
Chat
I'll
that
do
back.
that. You can do the logic. You look at the chat. Okay, let's do this. Sculpt mode.
If nothing else, you'll learn that like there's the answer to pretty much everything in dreams is a yes, and then that starts you down a path. It's not like, yes, it exists and it's ready for me. It's, yeah, you can do that. Maybe you need to do a bit of research. Or maybe it already exists for you in the Dreamverse, which is usually the answer. In someone else has done it already.
Ooh.
Just contradict myself there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, when I started doing that achievement system, it was just a counter and like a button press and then like a text display that just pops up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yep, and that's the foundation of it. And then you sort of learn like to add those bells and whistles as you get more competent with the logic
Totally.
and gadget tools. So yeah, basically just keep going.
Thank you to everyone who's being so nice to new players, I should say, this week. It's really cool to see
nice.
experienced people who have been there for the months of early access, showing people the ropes and answering questions like we're trying to do. That means a lot to us.
Oh.
What are you making, Rich? This is going to be your train.
All right. Sorry, don't
No,
nag
it's all
me.
right.
Don't nag me.
Sorry.
This is my train. This is my train window. Look,
Oh, lovely.
Beautiful.
it could be a plane as well if you wanted. Let's move that one along one. Oops. It's a very cheap TV stage set. So now we can put a little Connie on the train.
There's no better character to put in any situation ever.
Then Connie.
Just stick Connie in there.
I'm going to make the windows a bit bigger because there. Right, so you're going to make the things go past. Do you want me to build the scenery?
Yeah, that would be lovely, and I can make them go whoosh.
All right, so near scenery we'll do a tree or a bush or something. So let's do that now. Make it very quick. Because we're in Connie land. There's a tree.
That's a lovely tree.
Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll do a hill in the background. We'll actually make it lighter so it looks like it's further away. That's a top tip for you. Further away things are, the more desaturated and paler and less contrasty they become. Let's just make that a bit. Oh, like an Easter egg. Right. So now we're gonna use an emitter or a timeline.
It's up to you. Yeah,
There's multiple ways to skin this cat. What do you
Use a
think?
timeline. That's easy to do. Yeah.
There you go then.
Well, thank you. All right. So what I
Make
would
sure you
do.
it quickly because you've only got 5 minutes.
I know. So put a timeline down.
This, I think did they use a timeline in Artstream?
I think they do. Yeah, they use a timeline and keyframes.
But what you could do is use an emitter as an alternate version, and fire them out of an emitter past the camera. What are you doing?
I'm making them
Did
two
I make them
separate
into?
sculpts.
Oh, sorry, I made them into
no
one
worries,
sculpt.
it's fine. So yeah, what I'm going to do is put a keyframe down. I'm going to change this first. So that's the initial position. So this is where the tree starts off.
We should put a camera in that only focuses on that wall so that it looks like we're in a train.
Yeah, cool. I will put that down. Just like that. And we'll have a bit of Connie there, just looking.
Make sure the edges of that's it. Excellent.
Cool.
That's the magic of Hollywood.
There we go. Right. So the starting position of that tree is keyframed, and then I'm going to have another keyframe, and then I'm just going to blend it. I'm going to scope into this one, tweak it, and then just put it on the other side like that.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to drag the end of the timeline just to the end of the second keyframe, and then just put it on a loop. So when I press play,
Oh, welcome to your camera.
sorry, I'll just put a,
Is that because Connie's in the scene?
yeah, probably, but sorry, I'll just, okay, there we are. It's a bit wonky, but
Speed it up. There we go. And then we do the same thing for the hill, do we?
yeah. But we're going to put this on a separate timeline.
Right.
And I'm just going to do the same thing again. Just start off with the initial position of the hill. Put that over here. Let's have a second keyframe here. And then this one we'll just put it off screen again. So that just goes over. Oh. Just like that.
Master of illusion, Jamie.
I know, right? Very deceptive. It's cool. And then this one's going to be a lot slower because we're giving the illusion that it's further in the background. So when I started off, you can see that the tree goes really fast. Oh, need to loop that. Must not forget to loop it. So when you play it... Oh no.
What's happened? TV's gone off.
TV's gone off.
You're still streaming, they can see what
Cool.
Oh, look,
That's
there you
cool.
can see it on there, look.
Uh-oh.
I can't. It's behind the laptop.
how do
No
we stop it
signal.
whipping backwards?
There we go, I think we're back.
We're back.
How do we
Wonderful.
get that sort of wishy bit back?
The wishy bit.
Your
Because the tree goes,
starting point.
it runs
for the
back to its position.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Is it-
What would you
I
suggest?
think the starting point just needs to be further away from the
Ah,
camera, so
cool.
it starts off camera.
All right, cool.
It's
Oops, that's the wrong
different
timeline.
timeline.
Cool. So we put that further that way, maybe?
Yeah.
Oops. There we go.
Hopefully you won't see it when in the camera, and if he does, then you just need to change it a little bit more. There's a frame of
Yeah,
zooming
there's
back.
yeah, but that's why the emitter the emitter version is so good because it actually destroys it. So if you want to do that in a different way, what time? Do we have plenty of time?
We don't have plenty
don't,
of time,
no,
Jamie, I'm afraid.
I think you can make that emit very quickly. Do it.
We can.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
Go on then, fire them across the... There's probably a way to stop them looping like that.
Yeah.
I think it's... Yeah.
So I'm just going to put movers on these so they go in
That away.
that away.
But doesn't the emitter fire them in a direction anyway?
It can do, yeah. I just like to do it this way. And then obviously this one's going to go much slower. If I can go over that.
Because you've got grid snap on.
That's right.
If we just do it for the tree, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And we put an emitter down.
Let's just test the mover. Yay!
Yay, it moves.
Mover moves things.
Huzzah.
Something works.
I mean, there are
Yes.
settings in the emitter that you can use to push as well. So there's, again, multiple ways to do this. You could even just clone. Now that once you set up that one tree, you could clone that 2 or 3 times and just change the speed at which they move, and then they'll all be whooshing past.
Yep, cool.
The other thing you could do as well is use flow on a painting, or even on a sculpt. In the foreground, you could just have bits of grass whooshing past.
Yeah.
All sorts of
You
wonderful
can.
things.
Many different ways that you can do that effect, which is really cool.
Did you know at the end of Artstream that you're riding on top of router?
Router, yeah.
Yeah. So you're zooming.
Spoilers.
And it looks like you are zooming into the distance and you're making a big journey. Actually, the level is what's moving, and router is standing pretty much still. So it's like a rolling road. It's a very similar thing.
The
to
bit
what
where you're
doing.
flying through the environment.
Yeah, just for actually no, for I think it's the router bits, and the car is travelling. I think. Yeah, sketchy fact there. For
That's
you.
really cool.
So
Yeah.
the thing, as long as you get the effect on the screen and the player feels that something is happening, it doesn't necessarily have to be happening.
Yep.
As long as you give the illusion that it's happening. Isn't that right, Jamie?
That is right.
That's how we make llama magic.
I actually do use that in Llama Quest 2, so bit of a spoiler, but yeah.
Oh, no.
It's oh no. Yeah.
Cool.
So what's our next stream after this one?
What is our next stream?
It'll be probably a Thursday community creation stream.
Oh,
Oh,
we've
yes.
got some really
Is
good.
there one this
yeah,
Thursday?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yes, yeah.
Probably with Tom Dent, I imagine.
Yeah. Where is he today?
He's ill, I think.
Oh, get well, Tom.
guy.
Send him
Yeah.
get well soons. Now, obviously, we haven't answered everyone's questions today, but we can always have a go on Twitter or, in the
Yeah.
usual places, or just ask the community.
Yeah, just pester us.
Yeah, or
We're
look
happy to
back
answer.
through our back catalogue, or go on the Dreams Workshop. You can actually search there for various techniques. Every tutorial's got multiple things in it for you to learn. We've got how-to videos now as well, and there's even a masterclass, one of which might have me in it.
It might have you in it.
So check it out. And we'll see you next time.
Cool.
Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much. We'll see you
coming.
later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.